Another video here for you. In this one we're going to be taking a look at why is my printer not printing, and we're going to go through some basic steps that you can take to try and fix these common issues yourself. First off, we need to find out whether it's going to be a software related issue or whether it's a hardware related issue. So software could be driver issues and stuff like that on the system, and also compatibility and things like that. And then we've got the other type of issue, which is hardware, which could be a USB cable, blocked printer heads, all that sort of stuff, paper jams. And I've seen the most tiniest bit of paper caught inside the feeder where it just won't print, and you need to make sure and check really closely to make sure there's no paper in there. So let's have a look at what we can do here. So let's first start off with some basic steps here. So we're going to go to services first. And a common thing that happens is the service is not running. Nowadays with Windows 10, a lot of people are disabling services and stuff like that. So you want to come down to where it says print spooler, and here it is here, and you want to make sure the status is set to running. And if it's running, that means the service is running, okay? And that's really important, because without this running, you're not going to be able to print. So also you want to make sure that we're set to automatic here. Now sometimes it may be on manual or disabled depending on what's happened on your system. So if it's stopped and I click OK here, you will see there'll be no service running here and you won't be able to print. So we're just going to double click on this, make sure that's set to automatic, and click on start. Pretty straightforward and easy to do, and click OK. So that's that bit out of the way. Now we know the print spooler is running and working. Let's move on to the next step. So the next step is to go to devices. So we're going to go there, devices and printers. Now also, if you don't want to do it this way, you can click on this and it will open up devices and printers, just like so. Now once we're inside here, you'll see a little drop down menu which says printers here, and you can see whether your printer is listed here, and you can see the default here with the little green tick in it. Now you want to make sure if your printer is here that it's set to default printer, and you can do that by right clicking on the item and you'll see set as default printer. If you don't do that, you may be not printing to the right printer, so you're trying to print and it's trying to print to something that you don't have on your system, and of course it won't print. So you need to make sure that you do that. Okay, now you can see mine is not even listed here, so we need to find out why that is the case. Now what you can do is try to go to add a printer here. Now you also want to check the compatibility of your printer, whether it's compatible with Windows 10. And especially if it's an older type printer, it may not be compatible. So you can check that out on the website with the drivers, and go to get the latest drivers. You'll see that whether it's compatible with that version of Windows. So we'll run a scan here, and as you can see, it's not found any devices. So what we're going to do is click on this area here. Now if you're running an older type printer, this will try to find your printer driver, and this is for a little bit older type printers. Now this won't work for mine because mine is a new printer and for some reason it's not being detected. So what we're going to do is let it do its search, and as you can see it hasn't found anything. So I'm going to close these off and move on to the next step. So what we want to do here is we're going to come down to the start button here, right click and go to device manager here, let that open up. And then once it's open up, as you can see here, we're going to look down in the list, and you can see there is no printer listed here, only print queues is listed, and that means it's not recognizing the driver. Now there's a couple of things we can do here. What we're going to do is close this down here and just go back to the start button and hit settings. Now if we go into devices here, you should see there is no printer listed here. And this means it's not being detected by Windows, and there could be numerous different reasons for this. It could be a driver issue. So we're going to go back to device manager here now, and we're going to quickly right click on the desktop there where it says desktop and do a quick scan of new hardware devices, and you can see it's now found the actual driver for it and the printer, and you can see I'm doing it again because it had an unknown device. So there may be something wrong with the driver, and that's an inkling there there's something going wrong. We can see the printer has now been detected here, and you can see the actual printer driver is installed. So what I'm going to do is close this off here and go back down to the start button. I'm going to go into control panel again and then go back into view devices and printers to see whether it's listed, and you can see it's not been listed here. So we can try to add the printer again to see whether that works. So let it do its scan, and it's searching for devices now. Now this can take quite a long time if you're having trouble trying to detect a printer. So I'll leave this running. In the meantime, I'll go into uninstall a program, and you can see here the actual drivers are listed here, all the Canon drivers. So it is installed, and these may be corrupted, and you can see here. So you can remove these if you wish and reinstall them, and we'll cover that part a little bit later on. And this is the main driver here for the Canon, and you can uninstall just this one if you wish. But we'll cover that bit a little bit later on in a video. So let me close this off, and you can see no device has still not been found on this computer. So there is something going on, and there is a problem here, and it could be due to Windows 10 or the USB or the driver. So we're going to move on to the next step here. We're going to go back into the start button here and hit device manager again. Just open this back up. And again, you can see here we're going to click on the driver itself, and we're going to click on update driver software, and then what we're going to do is search. Okay, so that scan is now finished, and you can see here it's saying Windows has determined that the driver software for your device is up to date. So what we're going to do is close that off, and we're going to go back into here. And also what you can do is go update driver, and then go browse my computer for the driver, then go let me pick, and you can see here you should have your driver listed here. So we're going to go here, and we're going to go next and try to install this driver software from here. Okay, so if that doesn't work, we're going to uninstall this and reinstall it with a fresh new driver, because this may be corrupted. So next we're just going to quickly check to see if it's come up in our view devices and printers, and there we go, it's now come up, and now we have it as our default. Now if it's not come up as a default, you need to right click on this and set this as a default. The next thing you can do, if you're still having problems with your printer, you can then right click on the actual printer icon, and you can then go to troubleshoot, hit troubleshoot, and it will then detect problems with your printer or your printer settings or your setup, and it will try to fix those issues that you may be having. You can see here it's checking the print spooler service. It checks a load of stuff, and you can see here I'm having an issue with USB composite device. Is an older device and might not work with USB 3.0. Now that means that the printer cable may be plugged into the back of your USB port into a 3.0 socket instead of a 2.0. So you want to make sure that that is plugged into a 2.0 if it is an older type printer, or it's having trouble working in a 3.0 type printer port, okay, or USB port I should say. So we're going to click next here, and it will probably give me an error. It's going to get a list of information about the device now, and you can see here it's given me not fixed. Now the printer will work like this, but this is could be an issue with Windows 10 as well, which I've checked up on, and it is plugged into a 2.0 port already, so it could be a case of this is a Windows error, but if it prints, then leave it well alone until they fix this issue. You can also here click on this view detail information, and you can see here it's giving you all the information here about the issue with your printer, and you can see here it's giving you the options to print, but if you can't print then you won't be able to print this information out. But what you can do, if you're still having issues, you will need to download a fresh driver, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. But as you can see here, it gives you all the information. So what we're going to do here now is close this off. So the next thing you can do is double click on this icon, and it will open up this. Make sure that you've got no printer jobs inside here. You want to empty these out if they are, and you may need to stop the print spooler before you delete these. If not, you can right click on them and delete them, but I've got none here. But if you have, you want to remove those. Okay. Also, you can see use printer offline here. If you're having issues, you can uncheck this. So what we're going to do next is come into this area here, and what you want to do, if it's an old type printer, it may be a case that you've got bad printer heads or a clogged cartridge or something like that. You want to go onto the maintenance tab here, and what you want to do next is run through these cleaning cycles. This is really important, and it sometimes fixes a lot of issues. So I'm not going to run through all these, but I'm just going to go through them here. So first off, start at the top left hand corner and do cleaning. Okay, this is going to clean a lot of issues and unwanted smudges and stuff and lines on your print results. Also do a deep cleaning afterwards. So 1 and 2, you want to do these 2 up the top, and then you want to do a print head alignment afterwards, and then you also want to do the nozzle check after that. Okay, so do these 4 in sequence, and once you've done that, hopefully your problem should be resolved. And you can view your printer status here. Just click on this here, and it will give you your status of your printer. So what we're going to do is close this off. Now if you're still having trouble, it could be a simple case that the driver is corrupted and it needs to be uninstalled, and you need to put a fresh driver on there, and that can fix a lot of problems. So what we're going to do here is go to your manufacturer's website, and you can see in my case it's a Canon, and what you want to do is look for the series of your printer, and my one is the 6851 version, and it should be located on the front of your printer. So we're going to come down here, and it's an MG here. So just you can see one, and you can see here you've got your drivers, your software, your manuals, your apps, your firmware, and you can check all that, and you can check the error codes here which you may be getting on your printer. Okay, now it also detects your operating system. Get the right version, download it, and once you've downloaded that, you need to uninstall that driver. Now I'm not going to go through that process, but what you need to do here is go to your control panel and then uninstall the program and find your Canon driver here. Now you can see here there's quite a few Canons here. These because it's using all the software and stuff, but if you just want the actual driver, you can uninstall that driver. You can either do it from Device Manager, or you can do it from this area here, and you can see here this is the actual driver here, or you can do it from Device Manager, and I'll show you quickly how to do that. Open up Device Manager, and you can see here under printers, if it's listed here, you can right click on this and you can uninstall the driver from here and then reinstall your driver. Now there's also another thing which I wanted to point out, which is another step which you can do, is go to Properties here, and this opens up this little box here, and you can see Events. If you go into Events here, you can open up View All Events, and this will open up your event viewer, and it will show you any errors or any problems that you may be getting with your printer complex to understand. But if you do understand computers and stuff like that, then this is a good place to locate here and look at to find out what is going on with your Canon printer. You can see here it gives you the information and the logs and stuff of this printer. We're not going to go too deep into that one. We'll try and keep it simple. Okay, so the next thing is hardware sort of related issues, and you want to check the USB cable to make sure the USB cable is not faulty. Make sure it's plugged in at the back of the computer and also plugged in the back of the printer, and it's fully inserted. Make sure all your cartridges are fully inserted correctly into the actual printer itself, and you must know how to do that, obviously. Now if it's a new printer, and you may want to make sure that all the tape and all the sticky tape that comes with the printer when you buy it to stop all the components moving about, make sure they're all removed so it can actually freely print. Another thing that you want to check is actually the cartridges, nozzles and stuff are all free from debris and ink. If they're all full up with ink and stuff like that, you may need to clean all that out and use solution if it's an older type printer. If it's a printer head where you've got the printer head on the cartridge, you can clean those out with some solution as well. And if it's a more modern one, you won't have to worry about that so much. You may want to replace your cartridges. They may be faulty or failing, and that's another thing. So pretty much check for paper jams in the actual printer itself. You want to look inside the paper tray feeder and also the part where the paper comes out of the printer as well, to make sure there's no little tears inside there with paper, and make sure that's all free from paper, otherwise it won't print. Okay, you're going to have a problem. And that's pretty much it. Make sure the paper tray is inserted correctly. Sometimes you have problems with the paper tray not inserted. You may be getting errors on the display. If you have an LCD display, check for any errors and stuff like that. If they are, then do some research on them. But that's pretty much all the reasons why your printer won't print, and hopefully this helps you out. I'm not going to spend too much time on the hardware side of it because obviously there is no problems with my hardware, and it's a pretty modern printer and I'm not having that type of issue. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this helps you out, guys. My name is Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.